Good morning, children. Welcome to class 12. I'll be taking accountancy classes with you all, and we'll be starting with the first chapter, that is partnership. Before we start with the chapter, there are two things that I need you all to have with you when you are looking at this video. The first being your accounts book, which is RS Single, volume 1 for class 12, and the second being your accounts registers, because side by side you have to make notes with me and we'll be solving numerical side by side. The second thing that is important is please pay attention from the very beginning, because unlike class 11, here we do not have separate chapters. So once I start with the first chapter of partnership, which is partnership fundamentals, there are 5 more chapters that are related to partnership. And if we are not clear with the fundamentals of partnership, we are not going to understand any of the further chapters. So please pay attention. Before I start with the chapter, we'll go back to the rules of accounting that we did in class 11 so that it is a revision for everybody. We start with the traditional approach, the rules of accounting as per the traditional approach. So we had 3 types of accounts under the traditional approach. The first being personal account. Please keep writing along with me in your registers. Second being real account. And the third is nominal account. Personal account is the name of or the account of a person or an institution. Real account is the account of all assets. Nominal account is all the expenses and incomes. So talking about the rule applicable to personal account, it is debit the receiver, credit the giver. Coming to real account, the rule is debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Nominal account, debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes and gains. I hope everybody remembers this. Coming to the modern approach. So under the traditional approach, we have 3 types of accounts, and under the modern approach, we have 5 types of accounts. So here we have assets, liabilities, capital, expenses, and revenue. Now debit and credit. An increase in asset and an increase in expense is debit. Decrease in liability, decrease in capital, and decrease in revenue will be debit. Decrease in asset and decrease in expense will be credited, and for liabilities, capital, and revenue, increase will be credited. Clear to everybody? Okay. Now we come to the theory part of partnership, which is the definition. So when we did the various types of organizations in class 11, we did sole proprietorship and partnership, where we all studied that sole proprietor is a person who single-handedly starts and runs a business and all the profit belongs to him. And on the other hand, partnership, it is a group of people who come together and they start a business and they share the profits and losses of a business. So we note down the definition of partnership, which is partnership is a relation between persons who have agreed to share the profits or bleak losses of a business carried on by all or any of them acting for all. Why are any of them acting for all? So we go back to the types of partners, wherein we had sleeping partners who did not participate in the business. They only contributed capital and they shared the profits and losses. Clear? All right. The second thing, partnership deed. The most important thing, partnership deed. Why most important? Because it is the basis of the entire partnership. What is a partnership deed? It is an agreement between the partners wherein they agree to the rate of interest on capital, to the profit sharing ratio, to the interest on drawings, what will be the salary that will be paid to the partners, and so on. The rate of commission, everything is agreed in the partnership deed. Also, if we go back to partnership class 11 theory, is it necessary for the partnership deed to be in writing? No, it is not. But it is preferable to have it in writing so that in case of any disputes between the partners, we can refer back to our partnership deed and the dispute can be resolved. For example, there is a partner who says that the agreement was to share all the profits equally, but now I'm getting just 1/4 share. So what do? We go back to the partnership deed and we can check whether the profit sharing ratio was half or whether it was 1/4, and the dispute can be resolved then and there. But if it was an oral partnership deed, then we would go to a court and we'll have to go through entire legal process and there is no written proof of anything. All right. Now, sometimes there are some firms who do not have a partnership deed, which means they do not agree on any particular rate of interest on capital, rate of interest on drawings or commission. What do these firms do? These firms refer to the Partnership Act 1932 and whatever provisions are there in the Partnership Act 1932, the same provisions have to be followed by those firms which do not have a partnership deed. So when I talk about a firm which has a partnership deed and it says that the rate of interest on capital will be 6%, the rate of interest provided to the partners will be 6%. In case there is no partnership deed, then we refer to the Partnership Act 1932. Is it clear to everybody? Now this has to be noted down in your notebooks. Now let's come to the numerical part of partnership. The first account that we will be talking about is profit and loss appropriation account. Before I start with profit and loss appropriation account, do you remember when we did final accounts in class 11, I referred to something called charge against profit and appropriation of profit. And I also told you that anything that is a charge against profit has to be paid irrespective of the fact whether the firm is earning a profit or it is suffering a loss. So anything that is a charge against profit will appear in P&L account or the profit and loss account. So when I say salary has to be paid to the employees, the salary has to be paid irrespective of whether the firm is earning a profit or not. I cannot tell the employee that I'm not going to pay you the salary because the firm is suffering a loss. The employee is not going to work for me in that situation. Similarly, if I have taken a building on rent wherein I'm carrying on my business, I cannot tell the owner of the building that I cannot pay the rent because the firm is suffering a loss. So the rent that has to be paid for that building appears in my profit and loss account, which means I am charging all these items against my profit. It has to be paid in any case. Appropriation of profit, on the other hand, appropriation means division. When will we divide? When we will have a profit. So appropriation of profit or division of profit can be there only when there is a profit. And so any item that is an appropriation of profit will appear in profit and loss appropriation account, which we will be doing here in class 12 partnership. Why didn't we do P&L appropriation in class 11? Because in class 11 that the accounting that we did was for a sole proprietor, which means that the entire profit that is there goes to the businessman. So we do not need to divide anything. Whatever expenses are there are paid out of the profit, and after that whatever profit is left goes to the sole proprietor. But here we have partnership where we have 2 people, or we have 3 people, 4 people. So after the expenses are paid, the profit has to be distributed among these partners. So distribution means appropriation, and that is why we are preparing this appropriation account or profit and loss appropriation account to distribute the profits.